kicsivel még vicsinünk van, de már mi van, hogy én is a Yeah, good thanks that I may see once more a new day. Thank you. Coercive Control. Welcome. It's a Tuesday, but it's a Monday. Oh, it's a Tuesday. And I missed the Monday. But it was Easter Monday. Hope you had a happy Easter. Hope you all had a happy Easter. Remember the cards through that now too. My new little setup. Have I done a reading from here yet? Did I do? Yes, I did. That was too tall. I had to get something smaller, so got a little. It's a little smaller now. A little more. Hey, right? There's a little more C around there. Put my cards up here for now. Okay. My handy dandy box I got from my friend of this. It works pretty cool. Put my cards in there like that. A red cloth. Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day this is for you, and welcome. It's me, Wingish Nibe, Majeki Kwe. That's your friendly, freaky ass, sweetgrass, old water medicine woman. I say it in Ojibwe because it was on this land, where it's mostly Ojibwe, but honoring the land where I was reminded of my name. So I say it in Ojibwe. I don't think I'm saying it correctly, but it's my name. Sweetgrass water medicine woman. That's Christianna Chris Carr, superstar. All this beautiful divine being right here. Hope you had a great Easter. My girl is just falling down. You want to hear what that was? She was sitting up there like all weekend, and I had Liam's mask, holding Liam's mask from when he was little. Isn't that cool? But she decided to fall down and to get my attention. Little cabbage patches. My girl was gonna stay with me for extra days. She was sent home with all these protocols and stuff. She wasn't really sick. She said she had a headache, but then they're not getting lots of water there. They're with that else. We're more concerned about being their friends and doing what's right for them. Don't want them to get mad at them or whatever. That's what it seems. Because there was no, hey, no, you're staying here. You said you wanted to. And that's what's happening. Whatever. You should change your mind yesterday. It's the hardest thing a mother has to go through, I think. Aside from actually the death of the child. My heart goes out to you. I feel like I've lost my children. They don't talk to me like they used to. They used to be so close. But what's happened just kind of goes in line with when people are upset with you. They feel slighted or hurt, whatever, from their own perceptions of things and not even getting the full stories and then taking actions and being spiteful. My children have learned all this. And I love them all. This little guy here has been put through a lot. You know, that's him here. I found all this stuff. I was setting up my room. Cut out these ornaments I haven't had out forever. He was the one that made the most things at school. Him and Andy. My children are my life. Like, I don't try to mold them to make them like me. Wanna foster that uniqueness in each of them and be unique and not follow the toxic cycles of this world. that are out there in every family. In some way, shape, or form, we all have our own toxic cycles. We all have responsibilities to end those toxic cycles and bring it back to peace and love. So what part do you play in that, right? Look at that. That was his little hand. And it's a great little holder for my stones by my little stepson that's 6 years old. I said, it's the weather's worst. My mother could go through this. Act like she's happy about it when it's been lies. Didn't have to go like this. This one was made by Liam. They're so creative, right? They're just so beautiful beings, and I love them all so much. And they're away from me, and then other people will explain their mother. There are other people that don't know their mother. There are other people that don't think very much of their mother because they couldn't control their mother. Whatever it was, I don't know. Tell it Tuesdays, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, but this is where it goes. Mother that had her children, they're taken from me because there was no reason for it, all the lies and the broken systems. And I ain't going away. I'll be highlighting these broken systems and how they made matters worse than by not taking things seriously, by deciding right from the start. 95% of false claims are actually true. So they put on people, oh, it's been made up before. And a lot of that, it's like a few good apples don't ruin the whole bunch, but there is still, right? And still that stigma I've seen a lot in myself. Bias and prejudice in the systems where they don't belong. How is that fairness and justice if it's a biased system? How is that fairness and justice when it's only beneficial to the few and not to the all? How is it a fair and just system when if you can't afford proper representation, well, there you go. How is that a fair and just system? Take a mother's children away. To think, oh, those are the end-all seasoned friggin' workers, professionals, when there's been many, many, many more seasoned professionals working for years with us that knew more involved with us, yet these ones that have, a couple interactions with us, maybe spend a total of 9 hours spread out over or whatever, yet they can make a decision. So this whole system, everything needs to be recorded. CAS, everything should be recorded to protect the workers and CAS, but also protect those clients of when the human beings get things twisted. Because if you're not taking your notes until after, if you're not writing anything down till after, how are you going to get all that information straight? It should all be recorded, especially in these things. It should all be recorded so then they can't twist the words in what she said. Okay, so you're just gonna bring her here. Sorry, I am, there, maybe she's coming back. Excuse me. No, you're just bringing her here. Bringing her here. I can't even type. See, this is why everyone are taking me forever for texting. I'm sorry. Yeah. She came home from school. I know she didn't have that headache. She just wanted to spend time. But the kids are so confused. That's what happens, whether you're trying to or not. If you let your opinion, if you have a poor opinion of somebody's parent, no matter what, you don't share your opinion of that parent with the children, especially when they're still children. If they're adults, fine. You want to go ramble on about somebody who has their adults. You don't go to the children. And even if you're not saying anything about the parent, don't go on about your beliefs about what a parent should do, what a parent shouldn't do, or what a bad parent is, what a bad parent isn't. Because then around, right, kids will... And that's what's not fair. That makes me feel better that my girl will be here, because this is... I don't know what mother... Right? What mother would be able to keep it all together and all this. I've already been through the stories, I've been to those circles and hurting and hurt. Or women sharing. Some got their kids taken away, and then the kids as adults, because that the addictions that they get into, and then the kids feeling ashamed. Especially if the kids were groomed to think that it was all their choices and that it was all their fault, because kids will blame themselves no matter what. They'll think it's their fault. Kids learn to play between their parents when there's separation. That's where, it's so important that even if you don't like each other, be able to get along, to be able to talk, so the kids cannot do this back and forth playing thing. Because kids will do that. They want the stuff. It doesn't make them horrible. But the more they get away with it, right, we're training them too, is what we let them away with, right? If we know they're manipulating, right? Oh, you're just so cute with that attitude. Look at how much we do that. Look at the stuff we laugh at on TV. Kids, they think that's funny, so I need to be a badass, right? So kids out there trying to be badasses, but they don't quite understand what that means, right? When we're talking about badass, we mean standing firm in ourselves. Because you know what? That takes courage to be your whole self, your true self, and not bend to the wills of society or whatever, right? Or what society says you have to be, That takes a lot of strength and courage to just be yourself in this world. It's the biggest gift I would love to help my children with. To develop in themselves, right? Confidence in themselves, not arrogance. Confidence. Arrogance is not confidence. Arrogance is think you're better than somebody else. Confidence just, you believe in yourself and your abilities, right? Your connection to source, to all. And so I want to gift my kids with anything in the world, but it's an inside job. And when you're not the only influence, when others have talked so much that now my kids don't even talk to me. We used to talk, we had these nice little conversations and everything. Now anything, it doesn't matter. They won't talk to me at all. They get their looks on their face like, oh, is she talking again? Right? And then they're getting into stuff. One still gets into stuff like toddlers, so there's messes. They can't, There's supposed to be less work as they get older, not more. But if they're more work, it's because too much is getting done for them. They're not learning to do it for themselves, or they've learned a way to get out of it to get somebody else to do it for them, right? So they just sit back and go, well, they were taught that too. Just don't do a good job and they won't ever ask you to do it again. So they've given, and even at joking, when us adults joke with kids take everything pretty much literally. Till they get older, like 12 is still even hard to... You're still trying to decipher what's literal and not. Like the logical part of your brain isn't connected till well into almost 20s. Your logical part of your brain isn't even connected. So they're not even capable. That's why they're so dependent on adults. That's why adults need to be running the show, not the kids. Not doting and making sure the kids have everything and picking up and making sure the kids don't have to lift a finger. And if they do, well, here, let me help you lift that finger. Like, come on. We're making our kids too dependent. Why? Because we wanted to. That's the thing. That's why we need to know our own needs here as adults, so that we're not projecting that onto our children. I'm going to make up for my childhood through my kid's childhood. This is what I always want to be, so I'm going to mold and shape my kid to go down this avenue, because that's what I wanted to be. So I'm going to live vicariously through my children. Do you live vicariously through your children, or are you out there living your life? Or are you trying to mold your children into being mini-me's? Is that the thing? You love your child when they're acting like you? Is that when you love them the most? Whatever, whether is it the most or whatever, right? You love your child when they're acting like you. Is that what you want? Journey of Love, the Liberator. We need to free them to be their own selves, right? That's the true love. To love somebody enough for them to be their own selves, right? You love something, you set it free. It comes back to is yours, whatever. Right? We should set everybody free. Let's set ourselves free. right? To be ourselves and always be our whole selves, right? That's that journey of love. Because how can anybody fall in love with who you truly are? How are the kids going to fall in love with their whole beings when they keep being molded and shaped and they keep being told, no, this is what you should eat? What do you mean you're eating like that? What do you mean you don't like that? You should eat this. This is how I eat. You need to be just like your mother, just like your father, just like your nana, just like your uncles. Whatever. How about let's teach the kids to be just like them, to discover who they are. What's their little unique being and purpose? We don't know that. That's inside jobs. No matter how close we are to our kids, we're not inside them. We don't know their thoughts unless they're telling us their thoughts. We don't know their feelings and what's going on inside of them unless they tell us. Sure, we can look and we can recognize, certain looks or certain tones of voice. But even then, things can change, Our tiredness or whatever affects a tone of voice, right? Oh, crying and crying and crying affects your voice. Offering of love. Because it's always there. My children know I'm always here. It's just the hardest thing in my life I've ever gone through. The hardest thing for any mother or parent to go through. Hey, but the other parents already got surrounded over there, so, their mother is left alone. So what are the messages that the kids are getting? What if they have issues? What if the message my son Liam's getting is like, no, I'm on the spectrum. There's no formal diagnosis, but you don't start getting symptoms after you get a diagnosis. It's because you're experiencing these things. And for that lifetime. So that as I'm rejected, what's that going to translate to in them? Because I'm rejected and everything is taken as this. And how I don't listen to people, but have anybody who has listened to me, right? Everybody wants to tell me how much I didn't listen to them and all that stuff. But who listened to me? Who really listened to what was going on without thinking, I know what's going on with her. Oh, she's just so crazy. Who listened to me? Or who were you just trying to get me to listen to you? No listening to me. And then blocking off and then making your own assumptions and then going and spreading that around. I'm the one, you come to me if there's an issue, you think I've said something, you think I got a problem with you, you can come right to me. Like, how scary am I? People go around like I'm the scary dude. Keep trying to tell me there's something wrong with me. But see, the majority, so that doesn't balance out with my experience in life, with the majority of people that I've dealt with. The ones that have issues with me and say don't listen are the ones that I'm trying to put boundaries down with because they're overstepping boundaries and they're hurting my feelings, or what they're doing is hurting more than they're helping. Those are the ones that tell me, I don't listen, I'm argumentative, because they're trying to tell me what I need to do. They're trying to tell me what I mean by what I say or what I mean by what I do. That's when I argue the most. So if I'm arguing with you, are you trying to tell me what I feel, or are you trying to tell me what I meant? And I don't like to argue, because then I'm like, if I feel that I'm caught up in that, I stop, shut down, quiet. It's not getting me nowhere. What's the point of us keep going over? We don't feel good when we keep going like this. Nobody feels good in that. Nobody feels good like that. Everybody's just talking. Nobody's listening. How do we get to solutions so nothing's getting solved? Because everybody just wants their point heard. Everybody just, because I was hurt, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to take your kids away because you didn't listen to us. So we're going to stab you in the back and betray you. We're going to tell lies about you. Because you didn't listen to us. And who pays the consequences for that? The kids. Because now the kids have been alienated from their mother. And they don't know why. But, if everybody's against their mother and they love their mother, maybe they think there's something wrong with them because they like their mother. They like the quirkiness that we have here. We have fun. And a bell we can ring. We need hugs. We crank up the music. We have random dance parties. There's love in every day. There's laughter in every day. Even on the most stressful days. Because that's the mom they got. We're not going to stay in things. We're going to work this out. We're going to talk this through. But if there's no talking through, like, they won't even take breaths. They've been so, do what your mom says. And even when I say breathe, that I'm just trying to control them or whatever. And that's like that. It's projected on me what others are doing. That's what happens when they can't control you. They put it all on you. It was one big time. One sounds like one, the other sounds like the other, and then I've got them both in my house still. The ones that were driving me the most crazy. And I needed them to have some more space from my house, please. Just pop in every once in a while. Please just come in and rest. I don't need you to do anything here. Just come in and visit me. I can't just come and visit. I need to do something. Well, you know what? What you're doing is hurting me. What you're doing is not listening. So what you're doing is putting more problems on. And I'm a human being. I can't take any more. I'm a human being. With feelings. I'm a mother that has had her kids removed from her. Nothing's final yet, but then what does that look like? They've been removed due to lies. When I took all the right steps as a mother to protect my kids, I wasn't out there trying to turn anybody against anything. I've always had unpopular opinion about things, and people get so mad. And I'm like, well, no, we need to understand why people do this. There's always a story, Like I've mentioned before, The Shack. Watch that movie. That's what I watched. The little girl abducted. And then what that father goes through about that, and we look at forgiveness, and well, who do you blame? Well, where did that come from? You look back at those abusers as children. What happened to them as children? Because it's still those children, right? And those inner programmings, those are going to run us. If that's the way it is. Some try to get their power back by getting power over, because that's what they were taught. Somebody was taking power over them. When it's each of us, each adult, to take that responsibility, it goes, no, it stops here. I'm going to catch on when I'm repeating those toxic cycles, and I'm going to stop that. I got to do that myself. We all do. None of us are innocent from that. And if you think you've got nothing from your childhood that's affecting you now, or nothing from a past then you really need to look again. Because human beings, we all have human brains. And the human brains, don't all work the same, because there's diversities and stuff in there. But basic function, you want things to match up. It's looking for the routines. It's looking for those habits. It's looking for things that they can put into autopilot. It's looking for the things that, okay, we can filter out this information or not. Or there's some brains that take all that information and don't know how to filter that out without some sort of help. And then when it gets overwhelming and all that information just becomes too much, and you're like, ah! Maybe there's others that can handle that beautifully. But the brain can really only focus on one thing at a time. So we think we're multitasking, but we're not, because only one thing is going to get our full attention. Actually, no, nothing's going to get our full attention, because we're dividing our attention up. So it's only going to be half-assed or quarter-assed or whatever. You're doing two things. You're going to do half-assed this or half-assed that one. Human brains, biology. I didn't do any cards. I was thinking maybe I'll just stop it, do this little talk, and come back on with the cards. So those long videos take much longer to upload, and yeah. But I guess my girl will be back here soon. 8:23. So yeah, the one boy starts at 8:25, so we'll probably be pulling up soon. Okay, I'm so sorry, I can't shout anyway. Yeah, so let's. No, not reaching. Let's look. Let's look in here. It's just one card. It doesn't what. Whatever your will, Creator. Let's pull all of our energies from the east. Path of illumination and clarity. The south, path of innocence, child, waters, emotions. Path of West, place of woman. Earth, physical, introspection. North, the wisdom here is the air and the mental. Childhood, we appreciate those days gone by and looking back at that and how we've grown, right? We need to look at that. Because yes, not all of our childhoods were terrible. There's happy moments in that, but there's also those happy childhoods. There's some moments in there, unless we look at them. Maybe that was just bringing down a picture and, I'm full of shit, not right now. And then you take that personally and you don't want to paint anymore. But it didn't have nothing to do with your painting. It was just the timing. But then child doesn't know the timing. We don't know, right? We're still learning how to read others. So we don't put the blames on the youngest ones. That's again, if a youngest one is acting out these behaviors, we start going, why is this young one acting this way? Because we don't want to take responsibility for how we've shown it. Because maybe it's something we're denying in ourselves, but the kids pick it up. So they're doing just what they saw us doing, that we're denying we're doing, whatever that is. What is that for you? So appreciate those days gone by. And look, okay, this is what I've learned, and I can change that. That's the wisdom. You can have that rebirth as we get up into the north years. We can realize, okay, we're reborn again. We're not in these baby bodies. We're the adults now. We're responsible for these littles inside and the littles on the outside. And it's not for us to project this little stuff onto this little one, right? Your little stuff inside onto your own child or another child. We don't live vicariously through our children. That's not fair, because then we're trying to get them to live our lives instead of living their own lives. Living our purpose instead of their purpose. What is that for you? And then east to west is that blue road of spirit. That's the lovers. That's the ecstasy. Coming in and united with that spirit. We are all one. Balancing the male and the female energies. Balancing your creative and your doing energies. The giving and the receiving. And then you're in that true ecstasy. The lovers cards in the traditional deck. That's another 6. It was 6 of pipes, I think, was that on the appreciate the days gone by, right? So, and then looking that east to west, spirit is still with us. We can always call that in. And in our relationships, is that to bring us closer to spirit? Right? Are we just idolizing these relationships and those people and not seeing how Source is working through that and through each one of us? No matter what's going on, Source is working through us. There's just no way to separate from Source. Right? And when we die, right, spirit goes back up. The body's part of this earth. Earth is still part of the Source. Look at that. We cannot disconnect. Right? And then they go back to the waste. There you go. Part of that soil and that fertilizer for the next generations, right? Totem of stones, be a keeper of the earth, recycle waste. Snake to crawlers, retransmute those poisons. Right? So we need those little energies too. We need that mouse energy. We can't be all soaring the skies. Right? Spirit is in the ground, is too. It's not just above us. It's below us. It's within us. It's all around us. It's the beauty of it all. That's what we need to see. Even being reborn into that, to see the beauty of it all. Above, below, and within. Oh, thank you. We're going to have one just jump out. Just do it quick. I'm not going to read the book or anything. Just do it quick so we leave this, leave spirit with the last word. Right? Leave source with the last word. To help us think. Look at, did you see? That flipped right around there. And look at that. As I say, we can't just keep eagle to flyers, right? Okay, and we'll just have this honorable mention on the bottom. Right? The Ace of Bowls, that offering of love. Look at, because our grandmothers, that's the balance. If we balance that and we get that, right? Balance that giving and the receiving. Balancing our doing and, thinking energies. Reflection. That's balanced in ourselves. We're not going to take it out on anybody else, right? Noticing our own needs, right? That's the intuition. We can pick up on that because, hey, the moon's always guiding us. Our emotions will let us know, right? We have signals in our bodies, right? We need to pee. I'm going to go pee, right? Because if we don't, right, we don't listen to our needs, what happens then? What's on the top? Swim in the internal light. Dolphins, a totem of bowls. This is what we can do. We breathe, we relax, because love. All is love. Love is all. Right? We're going to free your mind to fly with the eagles. So we set our sights high with soaring. But remember, right? We need that. We need mouse medicine too, right? Yes, we do. We need that mouse medicine too. And look at that. Look at that. Can you see? Can you see the little hummingbird up there? The hummingbird and the eagle. That joy, right? That's the greatest wisdom that we can learn from joy, right? We don't have to suffer anymore. We don't have to continue passing on these toxic cycles to our children. We can stop them, right? It all begins within. I'm beginning within me. Are you beginning within you? Taking full responsibility. Even with our traumas and stuff, we can take responsibility. Okay, it wasn't my fault this happened to me. But the more I continue to replay it in my mind, then I'm doing it to myself. Because that is done. This is in the past. So the more I keep doing it now to myself. And now, need to look at those things too. Because some things, hey, is this something that's happening right now? Is this going on right now? Or is this something that's reminding me of something from the past? So this is not the same situation. Or maybe this is an opportunity for me to reinforce those skills that I learned because I went through this before. I've already done the sorrow part. Maybe this is a time for me to be joyful that I've been through this. I've done this. Yeah, I know just what to do now. So I ain't going to suffer. I ain't going down that hole because I learned to walk down a different road, right? Or I learned to bring my little handy dandy gadget thing, whatever, to help myself cross over that. I built my own bridge. Cross over that big hole. What is that for you? So we all have that connection. We can all soar like the eagles. We can all experience that joy like that little hummingbird. So what does that all say to you? So those experiences in your lives with your children. Do you want your children to be your friends or your parent first? Right? And parents is a tough job because, hey, parents, we're not always liked. And isn't that what they say? If your kids don't like you, then you're doing your job right. Right? If a kid hasn't said to their parent, I hate you, you're ruining my life. Maybe that parent's not doing their job right. Because, you know what? You're ruining their life because you want them to do the dishes. You want them to take care of themselves. And it's interrupting in their games. It's ruining their lives. They can't play their games. I have to go do chores. Oh, my life is ruined. Then they get over it, don't they? And they're off playing again. So don't worry. If your kids get mad at you, right? Do you stop loving your kids when you're mad at your kids? So don't worry. Your kids ain't going to stop loving you when they get mad at you. And really? Are they mad at you? Or are they just mad because they couldn't do what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it? Or they didn't get what they wanted to get when they wanted to get it? So let's look at that. Because kids know what they're doing, but they don't know what they're doing. That's why it takes us adults to step in and go, how does it feel when you get something from manipulating and lying? And how does it feel when you tell the truth? Which do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy this treat and reward when you've told the truth to get it? Or do you enjoy it more when you've lied to get it? When you know. When you know. Even if everybody else believes you, but you know what you've done. You know when you've lied. We can't escape spirit. We can't escape ourselves. So, isn't that a great reason to line up with our own integrity and the spirit? Because it doesn't matter who you hurt or who hurts you. At the end of the day, it's just you. Your source too. So maybe that's the best relationship to work on. I don't know. What's that for you? Or at least the first one to work on. And make sure you're good with your spirit, tight with your spirit, tight with yourself. Then everybody leaves you. That's what's getting me through. That's a good thing I like myself. Don't believe everybody that tells me no, there's something wrong with me. You're beautiful, joyful. Tap into that joy. Notice your own needs. Let's not put those on anybody else, okay? Because we've all got our own needs, and that's okay. It's okay to have your own needs. It's okay to express them. There, coming home. Biggest heart hugs. Biggest heart hugs ever. Yes. Thank you for being you. Shining your light through everything you do because you know it. This world really needs you to shine. To shine like you. Because if you're not going to do it, who is? What about your children too? Help them shine like them. Okay? Because we only need one of each person here. Even if you're twins, you have your own unique light. Shine like you. Okay? Shine like you. And don't try to mold your kids. Teach your kids how to think for themselves. Love yous. Wonderful, blessed day. Thank you.